Hi guys, PJ here. Today I am fitting a Halo Pro by Road Angel. This is a relatively new item on the market and it's sort of Road Angel's foray into the dashcam market. This particular one is a front and a rear. They do not have a screen, so you basically got to use the app or the connection to the computer to view your video files. But what I thought I'd show you was the bits and bobs that come in the box, bits and bobs about fitting it, and what I generally think of it when done. So without further ado, let's have a look at the rear camera in place. Okay, here we have the rear camera fitted to the rear window of the car. So basically it's on a double-sided 3amp pad, it sticks to the glass. Your camera part, this piece, is a cylinder that slides in. You can rotate it for the best angle. It's on like a cog system, so you can like spin it round, look, depending where you want it. And then this particular vehicle hasn't got a full covering on the boot, so we've just tucked it behind here and then down through the boot lid, down through the rubber grommet, and then down the cabin of the car to the front one, because this has like a T-wire with it. In other words, on one end of the power cable we have the connector that you plug in the main camera, okay, and this is for your rear video cable. So in other words, you've run the cable down the length of the car from the rear camera, and basically this end, to show you, plugs into here. Yeah, so you've got a connection to your rear camera, and then the main one there plugs in for the rest of the signal. The other end of this terminates in a normal cigarette lighter plug. Now, because I'm hardwiring this into the vehicle, I'm using some sort of kit like this to do you. It's basically a what's called a Molex plug adapter, but it's a female, you know, it's a cigarette lighter socket basically that you can plug that into and then tape it up, and it terminates in a earth cable and a loose wire there with a fuse on it for power, so you can tap it into the vehicle's fuse box to go on and off with the ignition. For instructions on how to wire dash cams into specific models of vehicles, please check my channel. I've got literally probably 95% of UK European cars on there, so search for your specific vehicle. Hopefully you should find it on there. But anyway, what does the actual thing look like itself? Well, looks like that. There we go, there's the connection at the back, look, that your, where are we if I can find it, your actual plug goes into. So here's your plug, this goes in here, microphone mute button there, that's quite handy. Now the mount is a 3M pad, and the mount is not, repeat, not adjustable. Yeah, you can't rotate this in any way. Now, because the camera itself can be angled, it's not a big problem, but it only goes that far up. It doesn't rotate any further. Now, obviously, if you've got that mounted like that, you're normally going to be angling it down, but it does limit some of the mounting scenarios that you could come across with this, because you can't swivel it round and move it nicely. So, a bit of a downside. I think the mount should be a little bit more flexible, but, you know, it's their idea, it's different. Now, you've also got an SD card adapter. There's your micro SD card, it goes in there, you flip that up and you put a Road Angel certified SD card there that's got to go in it. It's quite a fast card, so you need, you know, a decent card to actually run this thing for its resolution, etc. Specs, well, we got them on the box, let's have a look. There you go, there's all your specs. It says it's a dual camera, it's recording, it's dual storage, parking mode. Now parking mode works on an internal battery backup. Bear that one in mind, so it's short stay only, 15 minutes type thing. Don't leave it in an airport and come back and wonder why your camera's not recorded. It's not gonna happen, sort of thing. So we've got an image sensor there as well for movement. It's got GPS, which is nice, Bluetooth connectivity, and a shock sensor, so you know if somebody bumps your car while you're gone, it's all good. There's your recording modes. It's got 1080p, and it's got one bit higher than that, which is a bit of an odd one. It's got 1520p. It's 140 or 120 degree angle, so it's a nice wide angle. That's going to catch both sides of your wings, your headlights, etc., which is nice. You do want corner impacts to be covered. Right, so what else do we do? It's worth pointing out, this thing is very well packaged. You know, if it's in transit, that's foam at the top there, so it's quite impressive. It's not going to get damaged in transit, you know, if you're ordering this off Amazon or such like. So what we got here then, we've got a booklet. Yeah, it is a booklet, an instruction booklet, good old-fashioned booklet there instead of a CD or a USB instruction. CDs seem to be going out the window now rapidly anyway, so good old-fashioned booklet there, which is nice. Obviously rear camera, front camera goes there, and then your power cable and your front to rear cable. You get one sticky pad for the front window screen mount to replace it if need be, and you get a trim leverage tool. If you're hiding all your cables, you use this to sort of lever your trim out of the way to pop them behind it. Never use a screwdriver, guys. It'll put sort of dints in your plastic trim. It'll look a right mess. But yeah, well packaged, so very impressive with that. It's not going to get damaged in transit, which is very nice. Let's have a look at the front camera. One small criticism, so I've just mounted this on the window, put the plug in there, set the camera angle sort of correctly, is if your vehicle's got a hard headlining like this particular vehicle, this is not cloth, this is sort of a resin fibre material. This thing's quite bulky and big, so if obviously you're going to try and tuck this up, you're going to pull this down. You've got to be very careful you don't crease it if you've got this style of headlining. If it's a thick fibre headlining, hiding something as big and chunky in that is actually a bit of a problem. So a lot of care is going to need to be taken. Obviously, if you've got a normal fabric headlining, it's not an issue, but it's definitely worth pointing out, guys, because it's causing me a few headaches trying to tuck this away without, you know, causing any creases or unsightly marks on it. Quick update for you guys. Here's the power, the Molex plug. I always wrap them in tape because when they get warm, they tend to separate and pop apart when you're hiding behind the dashboard. You don't want to do that. So we've got our earth connection. Like I say, refer to the specific vehicle fitting guides that I've got on YouTube on there. And here we've used a fuse spur, which is like a socket doubler to take the power from. So you've got a fuse there, 2 or 3 amps on the camera, and then behind it is a 10 amp that was in the original socket. This tailors off to your power cable. You can buy all this sort of stuff, these fuse spurs and these holders, etc., from most car shops or eBay, Amazon, that type of place. I'm going to tidy all this up, take it away, hide it behind the dashboard, and check the camera works. Finished article, guys. I did manage to tuck it all up underneath the headlining, although in this particular vehicle I had to remove all of the roof console, sort of take it down to give a bit more flexibility to this fibre stuff. The cabling is really big and it was very difficult to actually get this nice and straight, so you know, a bit of perseverance in order. Just bear that in mind when you're fitting it, because the only real downside, to be honest, was this big cabling. As for the unit, you know, yes, it powered up okay, there's no faults or anything like that. To see footage of this, you're gonna have to pop onto the manufacturer's website. They don't have a screen on them, so I can't really show you it working or anything like that. It just has a light to show you that it's on. And obviously there's an app as well to download for your phone.
GPS connected.
So in the evening when it's dusky, if you haven't got a decent resolution one or a decent camera on it, you struggle to sort of define a registration plate on a vehicle. So in other words, you'll be trying to get a reg number, you'll zoom it in and it'll go all blocky. This one is pretty good. Anything around 1080p or higher should do that nicely. Footage on this was crystal clear, not a problem, and that goes for the rear camera as well as the front, so I can recommend it. Like I say, I have seen it. Go on the manufacturer's website, have a look at their footage that they've got showing to see exactly, you know, what I'm talking about. But overall, I mean, this is very much like the Blackview. If you look at brands of camera, you're thinking of buying one. Blackview is the same thing. It's a sort of a cylinder thing without a screen on it. Blackview have had various problems. I've been working on cars now for over 30 years, so I've done a lot of these, and Blackview can be a bit temperamental in my opinion. This seems very good, very straightforward. I don't like the cabling layout, that's my only niggle. I don't like the mount either, where it goes onto the window screen. Minor niggle, but you know, it is there. It's also quite a bulky thing to sit on your window. I mean, if you look, you know, that is pretty big. There's your rear view mirror, look, it is pretty big, but that's your, you know, down to yourself. My personal favourite is still Nextbase, and no, I'm not paid or sponsored by any of these manufacturers, and no, I don't work on private vehicles. I get asked that an absolute load. Also, bearing in mind, guys, before you pop any questions in comments, I literally get 30 to 40 questions a day. I can't answer them anymore. I'm just too busy to be able to do that. I do apologise, but hopefully this is of some use. I mean, this is a good camera. I would rate this 8 out of 10 and a worthy purchase. Just quickly regarding the app that this uses, so we're looking in the instruction manual here, and they have provided a nice barcode that you can just quickly zap and it'll take you straight to the App Store or Google Play Store to get your app downloaded, which is quite nice and useful rather than you having to look for it. But as you can see, it does support remote viewing. It also supports searching through your video files, etc., which is quite nice. It's you know, nice and clear on there, very easy to understand. It is nice, like I was saying earlier, to see an instruction manual these days. It's a pretty rare type thing. It's even got photo editing on there, look, which is yeah, all really good overall. Moving on, you can even rotate the view. So it says down here, look, we've got you can rotate your phone to the side, enhance the experience for live preview or photo viewing, which is quite a nice idea. So you can sort of flip through your little video files nice and quickly. It is a very flexible app, looks very, very good. In fact, I would say this app looks better than the one that Blackview use, which is a bit Billy basic and sometimes a bit troublesome to use. So this seems a much better experience. Not forgetting, of course, the telematics that this thing has. In other words, these cameras record your travel route, wherever it is you're going, and also your speed while doing that. Now, you've got to bear that in mind slightly. So if you're in an accident and you are speeding, that could be a problem for yourself, even if it's not technically your fault. Bear that one in mind, guys. But it is pretty damn useful. I mean, it's got features down here showing rapid acceleration, how often you've done that, how often you've hard braked. Yeah, it's interesting, shall we say. It does monitor how carefully you are driving, so it's definitely something to bear in mind if you're going to need this as evidence should you be in an accident. Have a look for yourself, and with that, thanks a lot for watching. Bye for now.